Will someone please think of the teachers? Video review of 3 Japanese educational policies by Malin Matus. To understand better how education policy is decided in Japan, a brief history of Japanese education is necessary. Central Education Authority all started in the Tokugawa era. The Tokugawa government said, "We don't need you, world," and closed off nearly all foreign access to Japan. "Ah, it's quiet in here," said Tokugawa. "Now I can study." And so Japan did. A central education authority called the Yushimaseda was founded, and they said, "Discipline and competent performance is the key." So Japan became very disciplined and competent. Later, the rest of the world came along and said, "Hey, come trade with us." Japan said, "No, go away." So the world said, "Do you see our cannons? Now let's trade." Japan said, "Ooh, you wanted to trade. Why didn't you say so? Come on in." After a revolution, a new imperial government and the Meiji era started. Emperor Meiji said, "I love foreign stuff. Hey, you guys, you ministers, go out to Europe and America and bring back cool stuff for Japan." The ministers said, "Sir, yes, sir," and brought back the concept of compulsory elementary education. They also thought briefly about sharing Western concepts of individuality, but a quick look at the hammer set them straight. Fast forward to pre-war Japan. Emperor Meiji is dead, and Japan is ruled by a nationalistic, militaristic government. And they say, "Japan is the best nation on earth." And Japan says, "Yeah, we agree." And so the government edited all the textbooks just to make sure. However, a few years and a couple of atomic bombs later, Japan says, "I think we need to be more like America." So, the Ministry of Education extended compulsory education to grade 9, just like America at the time. I think we see a pattern emerging. Post-war Japan, all the way to the 90s, said, "I love foreign stuff." Echo. And once again, an influx of foreign ideas flooded into Japan. But as much as Japan adopted university and egalitarian education like the West, it was still important to be Japanese. Don't forget the hammer. This brings us to Japan's education now and the first piece of policy titled Second Basic Plan for the Promotion of Education. Snazzy title, right? This was released by the Ministry of Education, Culture and Sports, Science and Technology, which I'll call MEXT. Prior to 2000, Japan was consistently the #1 education system. But in 2000, PISA results showed Finland has the #1 place for education. So MEXT said, "Hey, you educators, go find out what they did in Finland." And of course, the educators said, "Sir, yes, sir." Their findings prompted a bunch of curriculum reform in 2008 to 2009 that culminated in the plan's release in 2013. It is an ambitious policy, but 2 things jump out. 1, better access to early childhood education by removing tuition fees for kindergarten and/or providing financial support. 2, reintroduction of Saturday as a school day. My question is, who is going to teach the influx of 5-year-olds and the Saturdays? Currently, the OECD reports that teachers in Japan have among the highest total statutory working time in OECD countries. And now they'll need to teach kindergarten and Saturdays? Someone should think about the teachers. In tandem with the Second Basic Plan for the Promotion of Education, the national government released the Japan Revitalization Strategy in 2013. One interesting strategy from this 180-page document is their strategy to utilize the untapped potential of Japan's highly educated but unemployed women. Their strategy for accomplishing this is to, among other things, open 600,000 new spaces for early childhood education and care. However, once again I ask, where will they find the teachers or teacher time to do all this? No one is thinking about the teachers here. Also, worming its way through these two broad-stroke policies is MEX's English Education Reform Plan Corresponding to Globalization. Man, I love these titles. Introduced in 2011 and recently revised in 2014, this awesome policy is basically designed to get students to... Several strategies are outlined, but the biggest hurdle in my mind is the blanket introduction of mandatory English education in elementary schools starting in grade 3 with no warm-up. So I ask again, where will they get enough English teachers for their 21,000 schools? The answer? They can't. Regular teachers just have to teach English. Somehow. Hey, did they ask the teachers? In the end, Japan has some pretty impressive policy intended to reform and improve their schools. MEXT has shown sensitivity to how the current education system isn't living up to the changing employment standards of the 21st century. Furthermore, they've shown vision in compiling comprehensive action plans to address the deficiencies in their system. However, MEXT has been blind to who is shouldering the responsibility for enacting these policies. Japanese teachers are already overworked, often staying until 9 or 10 at night to complete administrative duties after supervising extracurricular activities. Now MEXT wants them to 1. Teach on Saturday, 2. Teach kindergarten, and 3. Teach English, just because MEXT says so. What do Japanese teachers do? They look at that hammer and say, "Shoganai," which is a Japanese phrase that means it can't be helped. And they carry on with their atlas-like burden. Won't somebody think of these teachers?